Hi, I'm Robert Killen, Director of the Lane Small Business Development Center, and in this video I want to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program. That's the forgivable loan program that was rolled out a week ago last Friday in the CARES Act. Now, you may have heard about it over the weekend because there's been a lot of frustration with the program. Unfortunately, the Fed announced on Tuesday that banks would be taking applications for this program on Friday, last Friday the 3rd. Unfortunately, the guidance didn't get to the banks until Thursday night. And so they were asking banks to be ready with an application that they could process hours after receiving guidance, and it was simply too much to ask. So I do know that there were some larger banks that had gotten ahead of this and were trying to make application over the weekend, but it seems like everybody's been having a little bit of trouble. Hopefully over the next couple days, all of this will resolve and banks will be successfully taking applications for this program. Now, you're going to want to check with your bank, the bank that you use for your business purposes, and ensure that they are participating. Not every bank, not every credit union is going to be, and you don't want to get caught thinking they will. So find out right now, if you haven't already, whether or not your bank is going to be participating. If they are not, please reach out to a bank that will. And it might take a while, take some research to find a bank that not only is, but is also accepting new clients as a part of this. Now, that's another frustration that people were experiencing, is that banks were prioritizing or exclusively working with existing clients. It might seem strange to you that they would do that, but here's why. There are a couple reasons. The first is that even though this loan is fully guaranteed by the Fed, it's 100% guaranteed, you'd think there'd be no risk, but there is risk. And the risk is that the bank is still required to verify the validity of its new clients. So if you're coming as an unknown entity to a bank, they have to go through the process of ensuring that you are who you say you are, that your business is legitimate. If they end up giving out money through this program to an illegitimate business, they could get in a lot of trouble. So that's the first thing. The second is volume. Every business with fewer than 500 employees is eligible for this around the country. There are banks that are legitimately concerned about their own ability to handle the volume if all of their clients all of a sudden are applying. And I think you would probably agree with me that if you had to make a decision in a situation like that, where volume was a great concern, you'd probably want to prioritize your existing clients at the beginning, right? I think that's fair. So I'm giving the banks a little bit of grace in this. Here's how the loan works. The loan is designed to give you 8 weeks worth of payroll. It's supposed to help you keep your employees on the books for 8 weeks. The maximum loan amount is determined by taking your 2019 payroll and compensation expenses, all of 2019, dividing that by 12 to give you a monthly average, and then multiplying that monthly average by 2.5. That is the maximum loan amount. And then once you agree to take the loan, you have to spend that out over the course of 8 weeks. At the end of that 8 weeks, you're going to go back to your bank and you're going to show them proof that you used those funds for the right purposes and you kept your employees employed through that process. If you do that, then your loan should be fully forgiven. If you fail in any of that, you don't use the money for the right purposes, or you end up losing some employees anyway, then the amount of forgiveness will be reduced. The exact calculations are a little uncertain, so I'm not going to go into detail on those here. But know that if you use them for the right purposes and you keep your employees employed, it should be fully forgiven. You won't have to pay it back, and the bank will get reimbursed by the Fed. That's how it's designed to work. Now let's imagine that it doesn't work out and you do end up not getting it fully forgiven. Let's imagine they don't forgive any of it. You use it all for rent and nothing for employees. It was a legitimate purpose, rent, but you get nothing forgiven because you didn't keep anyone on payroll. Let's imagine that's the case. It's probably going to be somewhere between that and fully forgiven, but let's just use that as the example. In that case, whatever is left over, whatever is not forgiven, gets converted into, well, it is automatically a 2-year note. It's a 2-year loan at 1%. Now the 1% is great. It's almost negligible. The challenge that I have is with that 2-year piece, because it doesn't really matter if you have anything left over to repay that amount over 2 years is a pretty short time frame, and it's something you're going to have to consider. So when you're thinking about this loan, consider the possibility that some portion of it, say 50% of it, is not forgiven. Are you going to be able to make payment on the remainder over the course of 2 years? That's just something to consider. So this is the loan program, the PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. If you're interested, reach out to your bank, ensure that they're participating. If not, find a bank who is, and a bank that will take you on as a new client. I hope this helps. There should be lots more information on this page. Let me know if you have any questions through our website at lanesbdc.com. Be well.